Hello, so my name is Nicolas and I'm going to present how you can manage your custom actions in SharePoint using my Custom Action Manager web part. And who am I? I'm a Microsoft 365 Solution Architect and SharePoint lead at Exobe. I live in Gothenburg, Sweden, so the right side of the country. And I mostly work with employee experience, so I develop intranets and solutions for scalable. I mostly work with employee experience, so I design scalable employee experience platforms, so SharePoint, Engage, Teams, usually focusing on large corporation, international corporations with clients from 10K up to like 400K users. I do a lot of governance and lifecycle management, a lot of what's called compliance and stuff like that, and I do some custom solutions. And I try to be an active PnP contributor. I'm not the best at it, but I try to be. So I've developed a set number of web parts and extensions that I've submitted. And why did this solution come about? So a couple of years ago, I decided that I wanted to become better at coding because my main issue was I started losing my coding ability. I was just scripting for the most part, and you know, when you go up the career ladder, it's more meetings than working technical stuff and sitting and developing custom solutions. I had real frustrations with the PowerShell. Like I couldn't get the PnP PowerShell working. I couldn't get the SPO PowerShell working on my computer. And I got really frustrated about it. And I was developing a lot of like SharePoint extensions. When you were doing deployment of those, and you were doing it, for example, on a specific site, he created new custom action each time, which meant that I ended up with like 12 banners or 12 collab footers. And that was a headache for me to manage. So I wanted something easy to manage. And so I started to doing a web part where I could manage SharePoint extension, and then it evolved into including custom actions, because in the old company we used to work before, we had a similar solution, which I really liked. And I was like, hey, I should use this for this too. So the main focus of this was that it should be easy to use. Anybody should be able to use it, but of course it's going to be IT admin, but they shouldn't need to start up PowerShell. They don't need to figure out how to do the commands. It should be really easy. My guiding principle is that all design when it comes to SharePoint and SPFx web parts should follow the SharePoint modern design guidelines, so the Fluent UI guidelines. I wanted to be able to manage multiple sites at once with full CRUD support. So instead of doing each site one by one, I could select 50 sites and do them all at once, for example. I want an ability to filter based on what scope and other like names, stuff like that. So it should be easier to manage. I wanted to support the legacy custom actions because in case you need it, as you know, custom actions is disabled by default on sites, but you can enable it. And I also wanted it to be easy to downgrade. So if you want to go to a lower SPFx version and use this on premise, you should be able to do that also. And the tools used were SPFx. I've upgraded this to the latest. So we're using the latest SPFx. We're using Heft instead of Gulp. We're using Fluent UI version 8 because I'm having issues with version 9 and with panels and stuff like that, and compatibility issues. And we're using the latest PnP.js, but the older branches contain pure HTTP instead. But I would go on to the PnP.js because it's a lot easier to work with. So let's share the browser. And let's see what you guys think. So here, and then we go to, where is it? Sorry. Here, I believe it's this one. So this is my web part, and it's called a Custom Action Manager. So here you can see what sites it's connected to. You can change sites. You can select a specific site, or you can select multiple sites. So hey, I want, let's say, these 4. You select these, then you can manage them on 4 sites, and you see all the custom actions load from there. let's say I just want to manage one, then I can deselect them, for example. And based on your selection, it's going to reload and get all the custom actions. Here you can search for custom actions. You can change the scope. We have web, we have site, we have lists, and we have tenant. Tenant is just a placeholder for now because it has some issues with it, so it's not fully implemented. We have advanced filters if needed. So if you want to filter on the registration type, the component ID, stuff like that, you can do that. You can create a new custom action. You can create it from templates. You can do bulk operations, or if you want to export it, you might want to refresh. You might have added one, and you want to refresh to see if it actually was added. And you can reset the filters. So if you press new here, we have a easy mode and we have a advanced mode. The advanced mode is a lot like it's a bit broader, but the easy mode is just simpler to use. And the easy mode is more for IT admins that might not have a lot of experience with PowerShell. So this is going to give them like more of a reference, like, hey, this does this command in PowerShell. So here we can add JavaScript to pages, we can add navigation links, we can add ribbons, and we can add, for example, a SharePoint extension. Here we add the title, we add the internal name. Internal name can't have space and stuff like that. We add the description, we add the scope of the custom action, we add the client ID of it, we add the properties if there's any properties, and here we can add what the equivalent is. So here you can see like, hey, this equivals this in like the PnP PowerShell, for example, just to make it easier for like an IT admin to know what's what. So if we try this, let's say we take an SPFx extension, let's say we call it column footer number 2, for example, and we call it column footer here. Presentation, let's say I want it in a site scope. Let's say I'll take this component ID here, and then we can do these properties. This component ID, when you do an SPFx extension, for example, it needs to match the web part ID. And here you can see like, hey, if you were to run this on PowerShell, it would look like this. If you press save, then it's saved, and you see it's loaded here. So it's added. And if we reload the page, I see there's only one bar here. If we reload, I have 2 bars. So it adds that custom action to the site. And you can change the scope, you can edit this. So let's say I want to edit this, I can do that. Let's change the name, for example. And we can, oh, I got an error for this, so I need to fix that. We can delete this. Or should I want to delete it? Yes. And it's going to delete that custom action. If I reload.
Could you reshare real quick? It looked like
yes,
it's frozen on your
custom sorry. Action. I'm using the new client. I'm used to using the browser.
No worries.
Is it better now?
There you go. Thanks.
So yeah. Also, we can create them from templates. So I've added some common templates. Most of these probably aren't used anymore, but I Googled like, hey, what are the most common custom actions used, and I just added them. So we have templates here. You can select them, you can add information, and then it's gonna add them as a custom action. You can create your own templates, and these templates are saved into a SharePoint list, for example. And you can also do bulk operations. So let's say you have a lot of actions and you want to delete all of them, or you want to export them. Then you can export them, and then you can choose, I want to export all the actions. And then you're going to get a JSON for it. And then you can use that to add them to, maybe you're working on this on your dev environment and you want to add them to your production and stuff like that. So yeah. And and these won't work in case you haven't enabled the custom actions on the site. So let's say I'll take this site, Content Center, for example. As you can see, it's disabled here. So if I add it, if I change site, if I change site here and select it and remove the other one because I haven't implemented that's both. If I try to add a custom JavaScript to the page, it's just gonna throw like, hey, it doesn't work, because it doesn't work. But if we do it like this and enable custom script, then you should be able to add a custom action. With that being said, it is a security risk to do this, so only do it if you know what you're doing, basically, as you can see. So it works for the old custom actions, but those are disabled by default. So yeah, so this is my web part, and if is any questions, just ping me. If you want it, it's available on the PnP web part GitHub.